So John Cena, one of the greatest, if not the greatest of all time, is going to be hanging up the jorts in a couple of days, ending one of the most iconic careers in the history of careers, and his final match is against none other than Gunther. And of course, as usual, there's a lot of discourse surrounding this on the internet. And I'm not gonna lie, after a whole year of just bashing WWE and calling them out on their BS, perhaps for the first time, I am fine with this. I actually like the idea of Gunther retiring John Cena, and I know that a lot of y'all watching this right now probably want to hog tie me down for saying that, but just hear me out, alright? I want to start off by addressing the biggest criticism that Gunther has been getting regarding why he shouldn't retire John Cena, and it's that he's old. He's 38 years old. Cena should be passing the torch to someone a lot younger, someone that can carry the company for the next 20 years. Of course, names such as, Braun Breaker and Carmelo Hayes have popped up, but here's the thing. All these young guys that I just mentioned, they're not in that position yet. They're not developed enough to believably retire John Cena. Like, especially Carmelo Hayes, dude. Because I see a lot of people saying that Carmelo should have been the one. Like, a lot. I'm pretty sure even Baron Corbin was tweeting that, it should have been Carmelo Hayes. It's like, come on, man. You can't go from jobbing out to Aleister Black on SmackDown to retiring John Cena. I love Carmelo Hayes. I think he should be booked better, but you can't go from 0 to 100. And Braun Breaker has just started to break out. Like, yeah, he has been booked a lot better than Carmelo Hayes, but he spent the majority of the year being Seth Rollins' bodyguard. Yeah, he's had bright spots. He's been in big moments with guys like, CM Punk and Roman Reigns, but he's still not developed enough to retire John Cena. And honestly, if Braun Breaker retired John Cena right now, it would feel super forced. Like WWE just trying to manufacture a next face of the company kind of moment out of nowhere, Braun's okay, but he's still in that stage where the company's figuring out what he even is on the main roster. You can't spend most of the year as someone's hired muscle and then suddenly be the guy who retires John Cena. And people also argue on the other side of the fence, saying that it should have been an older guy, someone who actually has history with John Cena and can have this epic final dance with him. And it's like, okay, cool. But who though? Randy Orton? We saw that already. CM Punk? We saw that already. AJ Styles? We saw that already like a month ago. I'm not saying that it would be totally bad if we ran one of these matches back. I'm just of the belief that instead of being nostalgia merchants, WWE should actually try to tell a new story, and Gunther is the perfect guy for that in my opinion. He's not underdeveloped like somebody super young, and at the same time, he's not someone that John Cena has faced earlier this year, let alone ever. He's not someone we're just reheating the nachos with and telling the same stories. He brings in a fresh story, a fresh challenge, a completely different style, a completely different dynamic, all of this while still being someone young enough to carry that momentum forward for several more years. I know that 38 may not seem very young on paper, but think about it. Batista became a main eventer at 36? He had a great run. And it's not even like WWE's doing 200 dates like they did back then. No, the talent actually get a lot more rest in today's WWE. So Gunther's definitely going to be around for several more years. It's like he's in this sweet spot where he's young enough to carry the momentum forward for years to come and is also old and developed enough to be Cena's last match. He's a former world champion, two-time world champion as a matter of fact. He retired Goldberg. You get the point. And like I said, it's actually a fresh story for Cena. It's a new chapter for Cena to close his career with. Gunther's entire character is built on this respect for pure, unfiltered wrestling. To him, the ring is supposed to be a sacred competitive arena, not a playground for catchphrases, not a stage for theatrics, not a backdrop for soap opera drama and whatnot. And that's where the clash with John Cena becomes really powerful, because everything about the Cena era, the clean-cut sports entertainment presentation, the bright colors and the jorts, Cena is the walking embodiment of the WWE machine. He is sports entertainment. He represents the exact kind of quote-unquote spectacle that Gunther believes has polluted professional wrestling. So when Gunther steps into the ring with Cena, it's not just a match. It's the collision of two different ideologies about what the sport is supposed to be. For Gunther, it's about proving his ideology, and his philosophy is superior. He's a technician, a strategist, a purist, and he wants to shut the door on John Cena's legacy by forcing him to betray the one thing he stood for his whole career, by making him tap out. And for Cena, this is the irony of it all, guys. For years, he's heard the same criticisms, the "you can't wrestle" chants, the 5 moves of doom jokes, the people saying that he wasn't a real in-ring guy. And now, in his final match, he actually has something to prove. He has to bring the fight to someone who represents everything people said he couldn't do. Gunther isn't just big and strong. Gunther's a technician, a strategist, a purist, like I just said. This match forces Cena to prove once and for all that he can hang with a master of pure wrestling, a man who embodies every doubt that was thrown at him. Seeing this story play out in the ring would just be amazing, and I'm sure that Gunther can put on an incredible match with incredible in-ring storytelling and dynamics and whatnot, and give Cena that one last classic before he rides off into the sunset. Gunther can definitely put on a better match with Cena than literally most people in WWE, and this match definitely has the potential to be the best match of this retirement tour. Now, another criticism that Gunther's been getting is that he's boring. He sucks on the mic, and he apparently can't tell stories. And here's the thing, while Gunther is not a promo god, he's not bad on the mic. Like, I genuinely don't see how he's as terrible as a lot of y'all say he is on the mic. He was kind of green on the mic when he was in NXT, because like, I don't know, language barrier I guess, but he has gone a lot better over the years. And now, I really don't see how he's bad on the mic. And like I said, I'm not saying he's a promo god and he's amazing on the mic, like no. But I swear to God, you guys make it sound like this dude's Ricochet on the mic. And he absolutely has told good stories. Literally his first ever major storyline on the main roster, which was with Sheamus, that was a good story. His story with Chad Gable was amazing. The Sami Zayn story was decent to good as well. And even in his god-awful story with Jey Uso, the only bright spots from the entirety of that garbage story are from Gunther. So no, Gunther is not quote-unquote boring because he sucks and can't tell stories. It's because Triple H just sucks and doesn't know how to book anyone. Because literally everybody's character has been nerfed under Triple H. You give Gunther dragged out stories with Damian Priest and Jey Uso and wonder why his world title reign was bad. Everybody in WWE is boring right now, dude. Cody Rhodes is boring. CM Punk is boring. Roman Reigns is boring. WWE is boring. WWE has been boring all year. Blame Triple H. But guess what? I will play the devil's advocate and talk about a criticism I've heard and sort of agree with. Gunther has spent the last year bitching out to Damian Priest, tapping out to Jey Uso, bumping for Pat McAfee, and with how much of a bum WWE's made him look like, he shouldn't be retiring John Cena. And guess what? I see that point. I understand the sentiment. But that brings me to my previous point once again. Everybody has been booked so bad in 2025. Even though obviously, the main guys have been booked well on paper, getting good opportunities, always being in the main event and all that stuff, a lot of their characters have just straight up been nerfed. Like CM Punk does not feel like CM Punk. Roman Reigns does not feel like Roman Reigns. So with how bad of a year 2025 has been, you can make that sort of argument for anybody. So yeah, while I do think Gunther's booking in 2025 has been horrible, that's just how it's been for everybody in WWE. It's like everyone just lost a piece of themselves this year. Like last year, for example, back in 2024, I wanted Drew McIntyre to retire John Cena because he had an amazing year in 2024, telling great stories, having great matches. I felt like Drew was the perfect guy. But now, given that Triple H has absolutely nerfed the guy, it's like hell no, man. It feels like absolutely not. This guy should not be anywhere near John Cena's retirement. And I also feel like people set themselves up with unrealistic expectations. Like there's no way you believed even for a second that Edge being Cena's opponent was an actual possibility. There's no way you actually thought that. And I've seen people say that they wanted, Kurt Angle or JBL. Like, huh? What the hell? And on top of all that, I can guarantee you that all this discourse was in fact inevitable. If it was actually someone young, like a Braun Breaker or Carmelo Hayes, there'd be complaints everywhere about, bro, who are these jobbers? If it was someone like a CM Punk or Randy Orton, bro, I'm so sick of these 50-year-olds. Why can't Cena pass the torch to someone new? And guess what? If WWE somehow, someway actually got Edge to show up and be Cena's final opponent, there'd be complaints about, bro, Edge is washed. No way we're wasting Cena's final match on him. Like, I can guarantee you there'd be boatloads of complaints no matter what. And it's because this is John Cena we're talking about. Nobody wants to see him leave. There's going to be all kinds of people with all kinds of opinions. And to all of you that hate the idea of Gunther being Cena's last match, all I can say is just put the negativity aside just for the sake of John Cena. Because even after everything I've talked about, I understand that things ultimately boil down to opinions. If you just don't like Gunther, if you just don't like him no matter what, there's nothing I can do about it. But this is John Cena's last match. This is the last time we're going to see him in the jorts, in the t-shirt, in the hat. So try to sit back and enjoy this final dance. That's how I've been for the past month or so, because you guys know how I feel about this retirement tour. It's been bad. But in these last few days, I've just been trying to enjoy these last few moments we're gonna have with John Cena in a wrestling ring. So don't worry, it's gonna be a great match, and more importantly, it's the last one. No matter how you feel about Gunther, no matter what fantasy booking you had in your head, we are witnessing the final chapter of one of the greatest to ever do it. So let's put that noise aside, let's stop arguing about who it should have been, and let's appreciate the fact that we get one more night of the GOAT doing what he loves. Because when that bell rings, when those jorts walk up the ramp one last time, none of this discourse is gonna matter. We're all just gonna remember the moment. So sit back, enjoy it. I sound like Triple H, bro. Sit back and enjoy the garbage we give you, cause it's a new nah, but like I said, it's gonna be a great match for sure. And let's send the man off the right way. And with that being said, that is it for today, guys. Let me know what you guys think. I'll see y'all in the next one. Peace out.